In the year 1965 in New England, there is an island called SoonConsequences, where only a red 3-story house exists called Summer's End. The house is the home of Bishop's family with their 4 children. Susie, a cool 12-year-old, and the only female of the family, always wears her binoculars wherever she goes. Susie, as a teenager, is the black sheep of the family who her parents always scold. She is an introvert dreamer and mostly spends her time reading and looking around the vicinity of the island through her binoculars. Meanwhile, her 3 little brothers, Lionel, Murray, and Ruddy, love tuning on the record player. Their parents are Walt and Laura, who are both lawyers. Both are short-tempered and perfectionist parents. The island of SoonConsequences is 16 miles long. It has no paved roads, and the ferry that runs twice daily is the mode of transportation across other islands. To distribute mail, the mailman rides on a small aircraft. One morning, Susie received a mail and went out of the house alone. Meanwhile, at Camp Ivanhoe, the scoutmaster of Khaki Scouts, Ruddy, starts his day by checking updates on things around the camp. He was having breakfast with the scouts when he noticed that one of his boys was missing, Sam Shakusky. The scoutmaster immediately went to his tent to search for him. However, after countless times of calling his name, no Sam responded. Because of that, he decides to rip off the reversely zipped tent. There were no traces of Sam on the tent. He might have escaped through the hole cut on the left side of the shelter. The scoutmaster immediately called Captain Sharp of the island police to report the incident. Apart from Sam disappearing, essential equipment in the camp such as a miniature canoe, fishing tackle, 10 pounds of sundries, 2 bedrolls, and an air rifle were stolen. Sam also left a resignation letter saying he no longer wants to be in the camp. He also added that it was not the scoutmaster's fault. Sam revealed that he's not on good terms with the troop and that they may be glad knowing he's resigning. As a protocol, the police informed Sam's parents. While on the call, Sam's father wasn't bothered by the news. He calmly said that he is only Sam's foster parent, and the boy might have been emotionally disturbed. The scoutmaster was shocked after he knew that Sam was an orphan. His foster parents also do not seem to care. With this, the scoutmaster, together with his troops, decided that they would be the ones to search for Sam. Search and rescue starts. The scouts formed a line and are holding weapons each. Meanwhile, the island police, Captain Sharp, also did his part by asking the locals near Camp Ivanhoe for any information about Sam. Not only that, but the officer also visits the nearest houses across the camp island. This includes the Bishop's family, where Susie's parents doubted that a 12-year-old boy could row a boat by himself to reach their island. Regardless, Captain Sharp still wants both of them to coordinate in case they'll get to encounter Sam. On that same day, Susie was on the lighthouse of the island. While on her binoculars, Susie saw Captain Sharp sitting on a bench. A little while, a woman on a bike approached him. It was Laura, her mom. The two held hands after seconds of talking. Because of that, Susie became suspicious that something was going on with them. The second day of September ended, and the scout leader wrapped up the day by logging how things went on the first day of rescuing Sam Shakusky. It was a terrible day for him. The low morale of his scouters in searching for Sam was also a challenge. They don't seem to care about Sam disappearing. The only thing he could do at the moment was to pray that Sam would always be safe wherever he was. Out of everyone's knowledge, Sam is alive and safe. He was rowing a boat and still wearing his scout uniform. Sam seemed to have prepared everything before he left the camp. He has all the essential things in his backpack, which includes a compass, map, and food supplies. He carried all of it and walked to his destination. And guess what? Sam met Susie there. They already knew each other. It was a year ago when Susie and Sam met at a church. Susie was all dressed in a raven costume when suddenly, Sam entered the room. The two talked, and Susie's friend concluded that Sam liked her. During the performance, Sam finds Susie the most attractive bird because of her voice. Before they separated ways, Susie left a paper to Sam containing her address and requested the boy to email her. The lady loves to get to know him more. The two became pen pals and turned into lovers. Their souls seem to match because they are both introverts, adventurous and mature-minded teenagers. Despite the sea separating them, the two are madly in love. Days before the two meet, Susie receives Sam's letter, a letter of their plan to run away and be together. Sam and Susie plan to go somewhere, specifically to an isolated island. Sam showed the map of their destination to Susie and agreed to start their journey at exactly 4 in the afternoon. The adventure begins, and it can be observed how Sam takes care of Susie. He also randomly tells different survival tips he learned at camp, making Susie interested in him more. The two looked cool together. Despite their young age, the two seem like adults when it comes to their sense of direction and survival knowledge. The day after, Sam and Susie are already halfway to their route and stop by to rest and eat near the coast. There, they decided to catch fish to fill their starving stomach. The water is deep. To make sure that the two of them were safe, they wore life jackets and fishing. Hours passed, and Susie finally caught a fish. Sam immediately brought it to their makeshift shelter to cook it. While taking a rest, Susie expressed how she was impressed by how good Sam is at camping. Sam replied and told the girl that he's a khaki scout and has undergone training to learn all of those. After eating, Sam decides to do an inventory of all of the equipment they brought. Susie showed him all the entertainment stuff she packed. First is the record player of her brother Lionel, her favorite record album, and her favorite books. She also didn't forget to bring scissors, rubber bands, extra batteries, and her binoculars that she thought were essential for their long journey. Sam noticed the books that Susie had brought. It was all library's property. He immediately asked why Susie stole those. Susie, on the other hand, admitted to Sam about her condition. The girl was depressed after discovering that her parents had been reading Coping with the Very Troubled Child. Susie realized that she was too stubborn for her parents to read such a magazine. Sam giggled and thought that her cause of depression was too shallow. Susie felt insulted and stomped inside the tent. She zipped the door to block Sam from entering. A little later, Sam went in and said sorry. He also offered a handkerchief to wipe her tears. Susie spent the night reading a book before a campfire while Sam lays beside her. Meanwhile, at Bishop's home, Laura called Susie for dinner through a megaphone. She has not eaten nor responded for days already. Laura immediately asked her little brothers if they knew something about their sister. Lionel spoke up that Susie had borrowed his record player, and she left a letter to him. Laura immediately reads the letter and panicked. She realized that Susie was not around the house all along. Laura immediately called Walt to tell him that her daughter had run away from home. A minute after the couple knew that Susie had disappeared, Captain Sharp arrived. Laura told him that her daughter was also missing. Since it was already late at night, Walt was the one who went out to look for Susie. While in the police vehicle, a weather announcer forecasts on the radio about the intensified hurricane, now called Hurricane Maybline. Silence can be heard after that weather update. Walt looks so worried about Susie, knowing that she doesn't have any friends to talk to at these times. After a long hour of driving, the police car carrying Walt went back home. There, Laura rushed outside carrying a box of letters. She immediately told her husband and Captain Sharp that Susie has a pen pal, and they already have an intimate relationship. Laura also suspects that the two of them plan to run away. The police saw that Susie's pen pal was Sam Shikuski, the scout missing at Camp Ivanhoe. The two have been comforting each other while sharing their life struggles. They get along well since they have similar interests and hardly make friends. For almost a year, the two only get in touch by writing letters. In this manner, they can send updates on the activities they have participated in since the time they met. The next day, Susie's parents, Khaki Scouts, and Captain Sharp all gathered at the meeting location of Susie and Sam, as stated in the letters. The police were positive that the two were together after a scout saw the cat food in the vicinity. With that, Captain Sharp immediately carried out a plan to search the teenagers. The island was too small that Susie can sight on her binoculars the plane and Khaki Scouts that worked full force to find them. Seeing that they are getting nearer, they hurriedly walked going forward to their destination. Sam was ahead walking with Susie when he noticed that Khaki Scouts had already seen them. They are blocking their way. At that moment, Sam pleaded just to leave them alone since they didn't even like him at the camp in the first place. The scouts call Sam crazy, having emotional problems after losing his parents. Redford, the scouts' troop leader, was riding a motorcycle, determined to capture Sam. He went full speed with his vehicle and went nearer to him. Sam, on the other hand, aimed his rifle at Redford. A commotion starts as Redford is about to hit Sam. Susie thought of fighting back. She grabbed her lefty scissors and stabbed Redford in the back. Khaki Scouts were left terrified seeing their leader bleeding. They immediately escaped from the scene. Captain Sharp and their scoutmaster Ruddy rescued the troop and the wounded scout, while Susie and Sam remained in the woods. Hearing the incident, Susie's parents rushed to the island police to look for their daughter. They were angry with the scoutmaster and Captain Sharp for leaving their daughter in the forest. Walt threw his shoes to the scoutmaster, extremely upset that he could not control his Khaki Scouts. As a counterattack, the police also blamed them for raising a violent daughter who stabbed a scout, Redford. Hearing that, Laura and Walt felt insulted and went near to hit Captain Sharp and the scoutmaster. Suddenly, an old man in a red coat named Bob Balaban appeared and called Captain Sharp's attention. Bob is already familiar with the island as a historian who prepared to document an incoming typhoon. Bob told everyone that he was the one who taught Sam about cartography and was impressed with the boys' intelligence. He then offered to help to find them easily. The old man has already visited the beautiful cove and suspects the two are heading there. Meanwhile, Sam and Susie finally arrived in the 3.35 miles tidal inlet that they called the Moonrise Kingdom. They were so amused that they finally reached the isolated beach they claimed as their land. The two camped and jumped at the beach. There, Sam also painted Susie, who was only wearing a swimsuit. They also had a deep conversation while sitting on the rock. After that, Susie played music through her brother's record player. Susie and Sam danced to the beat. The two shared their first kiss in front of the relaxing beach view. At night, Susie reads her favorite book while Sam was lying, listening to her. The next day, the bright shine from the sun awakened Sam and Susie. Sam unzipped the tent and was shocked by what he saw. Captain Sharp, Scoutmaster Randy, Susie's parents, and Khaki Scouts are standing before them. Laura immediately grabbed Susie, who only wore a swimsuit, and scolded her. Meanwhile, Randy gave Sam a letter telling them that his foster parents would no longer accept him anymore in their home. While on the boat going home, Walt warned Susie that it would be her last time to see Sam. Meanwhile, Scoutmaster comforted lonely Sam and said sorry for not knowing beforehand that he was an orphan. Sam just looked down with teary eyes. Randy also added that he was impressed by how Sam found the best camping site, the Moonrise Kingdom beach he stayed with Susie. Since Sam's foster parents will no longer accept him, Captain Sharp called social services to take care of him. The social services agreed and promised to come the next day to get Sam and turn him over to an orphanage. Meanwhile, at summer's end, Laura bathed her daughter Susie. There, Susie opened up that she hated Laura after she saw her secretly meeting Captain Sharp. Regardless of what her daughter revealed, Laura comforted Susie. At that moment, the teenage girl confessed to having run away with Sam because of love. She badly wants to be together with him. At the island police station, Captain Sharp cooked a meal for Sam. He talked to the boy like an old man and poured liquor into his glass. Captain also told the boy that he had fallen in love before, but it was an unrequited love. Meanwhile, at camp, the scouts were talking negatively about Sam and Susie when someone from the troops entered. He sympathizes with Sam and tells everyone to do the same thing by putting themselves in his shoe, imagining his life as an orphan. The scouts had a heart-to-heart conversation. They decided to help Sam and Susie and carried out a plan. It was night when Laura went out of the house to meet Captain Sharp. There, the scouts had a chance to snuck Susie down the laundry chute. A little while, the group headed to the island police station to take out Sam there. While half asleep, Sam heard a noise and noticed a rope that had fallen down the chimney. He immediately got up from bed and grabbed his flashlight. He turned it on and looked above the chimney. He saw a co-scout. The scout calmly told Sam that they would help him escape the island. Sam declined as he told the troop leader that living outside is useless if he is far away from Susie. Right after he mentioned Susie, the lady appeared above the chimney. Sam smiled as he saw the love of his life. This time, he was also motivated to escape the island. Sam grabbed his uniform and quietly ran out of Captain Sharp's knowledge. The troop rode on the boat to cross from the island to Fort Lebanon. There, Cousin Ben, who is a Falcon Scout Legionnaire, is anticipating their arrival. Sam asked Susie if she had a note for Lionel, his little brother. Going back, the letter that Susie wrote gave the idea of her running away from the house. Susie replied that she never again wrote a note to ensure no one would trace their location. Meanwhile, the hurricane finally arrives, and Bob never missed a chance to document it. The troop camped out and rested on the shore. They made a fire for the cold night. Before they went to sleep, Susie reads a book to them. Sam, on the other hand, eagerly listens while lying next to Susie. The same night, Lionel went to Susie's room to look for his record player. As the little boy turned the room's light on, he screamed as he saw the scary paper mache. It was similar in terms of height and hair to his sister. The khaki scouts made it. The next day at Camp Ivanhoe, Scoutmaster Reddy marches towards the Bell's location. He rang it to wake up the khaki scouts. Reddy was awaiting his boys at the table for breakfast. He was reading a magazine in the dining area when he realized that none of the scouts had gone out of their tents. The scoutmaster reported to the command office at Fort Lebanon that he had lost all his troops. Commander Pierce was so angry at him. Meanwhile, it was morning when the whole khaki troop reached Fort Lebanon. There, Cousin Ben married Sam and Susie even if he had no legal power. It's the thought that counts, so Ben told the teenagers to take the vows seriously. He is willing to provide them shelter and jobs after. On the 5th day of September 1965 is the date when Sam and Susie tied a knot. After that, Cousin Ben led them to a boat and sailed the two out of the island. Just after the troops bid their goodbyes, the boat returned because Susie had left her binoculars at the chapel. Sam ran to the chapel to get it. There, he saw Redford at the infirmary, holding Susie's binoculars. Redford is still resting after Susie stabbed him with her scissor. Redford insulted Sam and reminded the orphan that no one from the troops liked him. Humiliated, Sam ran towards Redford and punched his injury. Redford screamed, and everyone at Fort Lebanon went out of their tents. Sam ran while holding the binoculars. He was heading to the boat when a group of khaki scouts was blocking his way. Two groups of scouts trapped Sam, so he dashed in the other direction. Dark clouds in the sky appear with the wind blowing hard. The hurricane is about to make landfall. Regardless, Sam runs his way to the open field. All the Fort Lebanon scouts lined up running to catch him. Suddenly, lightning struck Sam. It threw his body away and burned his shoes. Camp Ivanhoe troops with Susie went near and rescued him. Sam is still alive and managed to get up. Using his binoculars, he sighted a portion at the camp where they could escape. The troops successfully climbed the fences. On the other hand, Commander Pierce of Fort Lebanon reached out to Captain Sharp to inform them that the troops from Camp Ivanhoe had fled to their camp. Hearing this, Captain Sharp called Scoutmaster Reddy, Susie's parents, and the social services. Even with the danger of the hurricane, Reddy hopped on a boat to find his missing troops. Meanwhile, at summer's end, Laura announced on the megaphone to alert her family members that Susie was already found. Camp Ivanhoe troops crossed the Black Beacon Reservoir just on time, before the storm waters damaged it. Flash flood was anticipated, but the troops were unbothered and continued to escape under the storm. Scoutmaster Reddy finally arrived at the camp of Fort Lebanon. Meanwhile, the troops were lined up to evacuate at St. Jack's Church. A trumpet was blown to warn everyone. Just before Commander Pierce announces his men to prepare for the hurricane, Ruddy runs in front of him and greets the commander. Commander Pierce was so angry at Ruddy for losing his troops, exposing them to the danger of the storm. He suspended Ruddy from service and told his men to prepare for emergency evacuation. Commander Pierce realizes that he left his medicine in the tent, so he returns. After a second, a flash flood rushed to the little bridge in front of the commander's tent. Ruddy screamed and told everyone to hold their position. The scoutmaster went into the tent and carried the weak commander just before the blast burned the tent. Khaki scouts of Fort Lebanon ran to the church to save their lives. Captain Sharp and Susie's family were already there at the church. They were finding Susie, but the scoutmaster told them they were out of the shelter. Ruddy also picked scouts to help him rescue his Camp Ivanhoe troops. Meanwhile, Captain Sharp's attention was caught by the group of teenagers wearing a mascot at the church and one holding binoculars. Social Services also came in and was finding Sam. Tilda Swinton of the Social Services scolded Captain Sharp and Scoutmaster after hearing the news that a flash of lightning struck Sam. This time, Ruddy and Sharp answered back the lady and told her that they didn't want them to surrender Sam to their custody and send him to juvenile refugee, similar to a jail. The two parties quarreled until the scouts pointed at the mascots that it was Susie and Sam. Electricity was shut down. Sam and Susie went up to the church roof despite the hurricane's danger. Captain Sharp shouted and instructed the two to come down. Sam and Susie did not listen, so the captain tied a rope to his waist before climbing the roof. Susie and Sam continued until they reached the church's bell tower. They plan to jump and face whatever consequences they'll encounter, even if they both die. They bid their goodbyes in case it's the end of their lives. Sam held Susie's hands and started to count down so they could jump together. Suddenly, Captain Sharp came near them while holding a walkie-talkie. On the device is Tilda of Social Services telling Sam they will no longer get him. Captain Sharp is very much willing to have his custody. Sam agrees and holds Captain Sharp's hand. They will no longer jump from the roof. Just after they held hands, lightning struck the church's bell. The three fell from the tower, but because of the safety rope at Captain's waist, they were found hanging, holding each other's hands. Captain Sharp screamed for the two kids to hold tight no matter what happens. The next day, the damages brought by the hurricane were documented by Bob. He also captured the church bell tower's roof that fell on top of a black car. The hurricane was considered the most destructive meteorological event in the region. October 10th of 1965, when Scoutmaster Ruddy logs that Camp Ivanhoe is continuing its reconstruction. Unfortunately, because of the high surge of water brought by the hurricane, the coasts of New Penzance were changed forever. This includes mile 3.25 Tidal Inlet, named by Sam and Susie as the Moonrise Kingdom, which was erased from the map. Despite the destruction, crop yield from the island following autumn has far exceeded any previous record. The quality of those crops was also extraordinary. At summer's end, Susie was busy reading a book while her brothers laid the floor hearing the recording player. Laura and Walt screamed and told the children to come downstairs for dinner. In the room, Sam was also there painting something. He was wearing a police uniform like Captain Sharp. Sam hurriedly went out of the window after hearing Susie's parents. He promised to come back the next day. At the home's gate, Captain Sharp was picking up Sam with his patrol car. As usual, Susie grabbed her binoculars to look at Sam closely. She blows a flying kiss at him. Sam smiles in response. Susie went downstairs, and the painting that Sam drew was revealed to be the cove of mile 3.25 Tidal Inlet, Moonrise Kingdom. It may have been erased from the map, but the memories that Sam and Susie shared in that cove will forever remain in their hearts.